So what I'm here to talk about then is how do we drive talent and performance by demonstrating a values-based leadership quality. I'll talk to you over the next 30 minutes or so about how we took our organisation values and embedded those within the organisation over a period of 3, 4, 5 years. But what you will actually see is that those values have been in place for our business since our foundation 129 years ago, which gave us a bit of a helpful start. Secondly, how we look at approaches to leadership development in terms of developing those qualities that actually match the values that we're looking to espouse, not only internally, but also externally. And then finally, a little bit about frameworks for sustainable success. How do we create skin in the game in the organization to make sure that when we talk about values as a business, it's not just another piece of paper that's put in a drawer. So about 6, 7 years ago, we realized that perhaps our leaders as a general population, had not so much lost their way, but there wasn't a common language of leadership throughout the organization. We were expanding internationally. We were starting to look at the multi-channel domain, and indeed we had a big marketplace in the UK to look after as well. But when we talked to our leaders, they were all talking about leadership in M&S as being different things. So we set about a task of pulling together what we would all know as a simple competency framework. But like any other business, we didn't just get challenged with provide us with a very rounded, very well-researched competency framework, because we're unique, right? Just like all other businesses are unique. They had to have something special in the competency framework that made it unique to M&S. And it's a fair challenge because you've got to make it your home. Whatever business you're working in, it's got to feel like your business, as well as speaking to some general fundamental theory in terms of leadership too. So what we thought was, why don't we take something that's at the heart of our business? Why don't we take the values of our organization and see how we could extrapolate those and blend those in to the generic leadership competency framework of our organization? So we took the values and we built 3 additional values into this. And as you can see up on there, we've got driving innovation, achieving quality, and building trust. The other 2 areas around customer and value were embedded within the whole framework. So what we had was 3 common sets of values, which you could often find, not values, competencies, which you can often find in any organization. They may use different words, but head, heart, and guts would prevail if you look even at your own competency frameworks. But also then something unique to M&S. Well, let's look at the program. So, 450 leaders, 2 years in terms of rollout. We took leaders from every part of the business in cohorts of about 15 to 16 people. So you essentially had mini boards. You'd have someone from IT, someone from trade, someone from finance, someone from clothing, someone from food, someone from an HR, and so on. So you had a good spectrum of people on each of these programs. And we ran 30 cohorts. The first 4 modules were talking about the leadership brand. We talked to our leaders and worked with them around how they needed to understand themselves to begin with, what was their USP as a leader, how might it need to be adjusted to match what we were looking for from our leaders in the future. We explained the different components of the leadership brand and gave them a chance to practice in a very safe environment. With actors, actually. Now, I'm not a great fan of actors and training, but I have to say the actors should have won BAFTAs for what they came in to do, because we had actors playing people like finance directors, ripping into other individuals who were also holding leadership positions. And these people were coming out shaking. Yeah? There was also some very positive experiences as well, of course. But we got them a chance to try this stuff out in a very safe environment. And fair play, they worked to it. They stepped up. So how do you put skin in the game then? Because they've had a great experience. All of this training has taken probably 10, 11 days over a 3-year period. We now have 450 leaders in our organization who understand, to a great extent, all about this stuff. And they understand that the values are important to us, and they understand the values are embedded in what they're expected to do. We designed a performance management process, which is linked to our reward structure, i.e., depending on your performance rating, you will have a differentiated pay review every year, and indeed, a differentiated bonus every year. Within that performance management process, 50% of the result, your rating, is based on your KPI achievement, so your core objectives of your role and any special projects you're asked to do. And the other 50% is based on your behaviour, your competencies. And with our leaders, that's the leadership brand. The high potential indicators, the things that get you rated as a high potential individual, are once again embedded within that leadership brand. We extracted certain high potential indicators from the generic brand and said these are more important than others if you're going to progress in our organisation. If you're rated as high potential in the organisation, we will provide some additional form of development to you that helps close the gap between the target role or roles that you've got as a leader and where you are now. So we will invest an additional amount of money, typically in external coaching or external business schools, could be mentoring, could be a non-executive directorship with another organisation. We will invest time in making that happen for our high potential leaders on the basis that they are demonstrating the values that we want them to develop and display. And then there's your common language. That common language touches all aspects of the talent cycle. So whether you're talking about pay, talking about career development, talking about personal development, or talking about promotion, there is skin in the game for you to be living the same messages that we delivered to you as a leader in the training that you'd received through the Lead to Succeed program. If we develop them against those, they start delivering what we're looking for, and then when it comes to that next big job, our executive recruitment and promotion should see that talent pipeline coming through. We do have that type of individual in every organisation, the cynic. I don't need help, I have much bigger priorities. I've got a business to run, no time for the HR fluff. But of the leadership, 10% tend to fall into that category. But then you have these other guys that I was just talking about. People that talk about, look, I've got a development plan, I've got a career plan. Help me with my development and help me with my team's development. I have some ideas about my development and my team's development. I want you to help me. Yeah. Individuals, leaders that know that you can't stand still, because the moment you think you can stand still is actually the moment you go backwards, right? Very importantly, we get leaders like this. It's the last comment that's, for me, most interesting. When they get it, they often offer you support in terms of how can I sell your proposition to other leaders. And if they don't offer it, then you can always ask. I've done that a few times as well. Of course, the real population that we're after in terms of development, the real population are the ones, the undecided, the ones that maybe, maybe not. Maybe today, but not tomorrow. I'm busy, show me how it would benefit me. What's in it for me? How does this fit with my career? How does this help me move my team forward and help their careers? And if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to support you in this, I want to make damn sure it's going to be good and it's going to be worth spending the time. Can we work with that? Yeah, we can. Absolutely. But when you boil it down to its components, find out how you want your leaders to behave on the premise that if they behave in that way, they will distill and cascade the same types of behavior through the organization in the areas that they lead. Make it simple by creating a very common language, embedding your values and your culture and your history and your mission within the competency framework. Pull all that together. Hard yards, but worth the time and effort to do it. And then make that thing sing. Make that competency framework sing. Put skin in the game through your performance review process, through your talent review process, through your development process, and ultimately through your recruitment process as well. Remind people all the way through their career that these things are important and that compliance and taking things forward on this, you will get rewarded for. But non-compliance is futile. Go and do it somewhere else.